So hi there students, welcome back to another video lesson. So after nating i-discuss yung concepts of remainder theorem and factor theorem, another theorem will be discussed in this particular video lesson, which is rational root theorem. So let's start. So for our lesson objective, we will apply rational root theorem to determine the possible rational root or roots of polynomial equations. So in here, equations na po ang pinag-uusapan natin, hindi na lang po polynomial expressions. So kapag equations, normally makikita natin yung equal symbol. So what is rational root theorem? So let a sub n x raised to n plus a sub n minus 1 x raised to n minus 1 plus a sub n minus 2 x raised to n minus 2 plus up to a sub 2x squared plus a sub 1x plus a sub 0 is equal to 0, wherein a sub n should not be equal to 0. So what is a sub n here? So a sub n is the leading coefficient. Okay. And then a sub 0 should not be equal to 0 also, wherein a sub 0 is the constant term. So yung leading coefficient, matatagpuan po siya sa leading term, sa nauuna. Okay. So, ma-identify lang natin yung leading coefficient ng isang expression, ng isang equation, ng isang function kapag sinulat natin in standard form. And then, the constant term, syempre, lagi po yung nasa pinakahuli. So, if P over Q in lowest terms is a root of the polynomial equation, where P is a factor of a sub 0 and Q is a factor of a sub n. Okay, so yung P over Q, so yung P doon is factor ng mga constant term. And then yung Q naman, factor siya nung leading coefficient. So the rational root theorem gives only an idea of the possible rational roots and not the actual roots of a polynomial equation. So, ang paggamit po ng rational theorem, binibigyan lang po tayo ng idea dun sa mga possible rational roots ng given equation. Hindi niya po binibigay mismo yung actual roots ng polynomial equation. However, we can verify the roots by substituting them on the equation and check if the value is equal to 0. Okay, so and then since binibigyan na tayo ng idea dun sa possible rational roots, so mache-check naman natin kung alin yung mga possible rational roots kapag sinubstitute natin yung mga roots na yun sa equation, and then kailangan ang maging sagot natin is 0. Okay, so masasabi natin na rational root yung particular root na yon kung yung sagot natin na makukuha is equal to 0. Okay? So, parang ano siya, kailangan maging remainder niya is 0. Okay? So, para maging root siya nung given polynomial equation. So, let's start. Number 1, x cubed minus 21x minus 20 is equal to 0. So, as you can see, meron akong ginawang table dyan para maging guided kayo so sa steps ng paggamit ng rational root theorem. So, yung constant term natin, so i-identify natin tsaka yung leading coefficient. So, for the constant term, so, yung constant term po natin is negative 20. Again, yung constant term po lagi po siyang nasa hulihan. Okay? And then, yung leading coefficient naman natin, so, since yung leading term natin is x cubed, ang numerical coefficient ng x cubed is 1. Next. Kukunin ngayon natin yung mga factors ng constant term tsaka leading coefficient. So, yung factors po ng negative 20, siyempre, pinakauna nyo po laging sinusulat, positive, negative 1. Okay, so bakit positive and negative 1? Okay, so, magka-partner po kasi yung dalawa na yan. Okay, so, since possible rational roots lang naman kasi yung kinukuha natin, hindi naman yung actual roots pa, so, kailangan natin isulat yung dalawang sign. So, positive and negative. So, aside from positive negative 1, we can also use positive negative 2. What else? Positive negative 4. Pwede rin po yung positive negative 5 since nag-end sa 0 yung ating constant term. And then, aside from positive negative 5, pwede rin po yung positive negative 10. And then finally, yung mismong number, which is 20. Okay, so yun po yung mga factors ng negative 20. And then sa leading coefficient naman, since 1 lang naman yung leading coefficient natin, sa impossible factors, positive negative 1 lang. Okay, so wala nang iba. Kasi 1 lang yung leading coefficient. And then, paano natin makikita yung mga possible rational roots? Okay, so sabi kanina, di ba, P over Q. Na kung saan yung P over Q dapat naka-lowest term. So, ibig sabihin, yung constant term natin dito is yung P. And then, yung leading coefficient natin dito is yung Q. Okay, so ang gagawin lang natin, i-divide natin yung mga nakuha nating factors ng constant term dun sa factors ng leading coefficient. So, mangyayari, ayan, positive negative 1 divided by positive negative 1. So, pwede natin isulat positive negative 1. Okay, so since yung leading coefficient natin is 1, pwede nating ilista lahat ng mga factors ng constant term. Kopyahin na lang natin. Pero kapag yung leading coefficient natin is hindi 1, okay? So, halimbawa, 2, 3. Ayan. So, kailangan po nating i-divide yon. And normally, kapag yung leading coefficient natin is not equal to 1, masasabi natin na may fractional root. Okay. So, meron tayong root na fractions. Pero in this case, since leading coefficient is 1, wala po tayong root or roots na fractions. Okay? So, yung mga possible rational roots natin kanina is masyadong marami. Okay, so, pwede natin yung gamitin lahat para ma-verify kung alin dun yung mga roots. Pero yung ipapakita ko sa inyo is yung actual roots na talaga, yung mismong sagot na. Kasi kapag pinakita ko yun lahat sa inyo, masyadong marami. Okay? So, makikita nyo rin may tatlong column tayo dito. It's because our given polynomial equation has at most 3 roots. Sir, paano po natin masasabi kung ilan yung roots? Okay, so malalaman natin yung possible number of roots dun sa degree ng given equation, yung highest degree. So based dito sa given equation natin, 3 yung highest degree. Kaya nasabi ko na there are at most 3 roots. And then we also have the word at most. It's because hindi naman lahat ng roots ng given equation ay rational. Meron din po ditong irrational. Okay. So, hindi natin pwedeng gamitin dito yung word na exactly. It's because, sabi ko nga, hindi lahat ng roots ay rational. So, let's have the first root, negative 1. So, we write x cubed minus 21x minus 20 equals 0, and then we substitute negative 1. Okay. Next, negative 1 raised to 3, that is negative 1. And then negative 21 times negative 1, that is positive 21 minus 20 equals 0. So, negative 1 plus 21, that is 20. Minus 20 equals 0. So, 20 minus 20, that is 0, equals 0. So, since nakuha nating sagot is 0, ayan, so therefore, negative 1 is a root. Okay? And then, ano pa? Pwede rin natin gamitin yung 5. Okay, so since yung ating constant term is nag-end sa 0, minsan, automatically, isa sa mga possible root niya is 5 or negative 5. Okay? So, let's have positive 5. So, 5 cubed minus 21 times 5 minus 20 equals 0. Okay, so 5 cubed, that is 125. Negative 21 times 5, that is negative 105 minus 20 equals 0. So, 125 minus 105, that is 20. minus 20 equals 0. So again, 0 equals 0. So therefore, 5 is a root. So yung last root natin is negative 4. So negative 4 raised to 3 minus 21 times negative 4 minus 20 equals 0. So negative 4 raised to 3, that is negative 64. And then negative 21 times negative 4, that is positive 84 minus 20 equals 0. And then negative 64 plus 84, that is positive 20 minus 20 equals 0. Again, 0 equals 0. Therefore, negative 4 is a root of the given equation. So, paano natin i-transform yung ating given equation in factored form? So, since yung mga roots natin ay negative 1, 5, minus 4, so pag change po natin yan in factored form, magiging x plus 1. So, kasi x minus negative 1. Okay? And then, 5 magiging x minus 5. So, ganyan po yung technique sa equation. Kasi kapag kinuha natin yung root na x plus 1 is equal to 0, babalik rin lang natin yung sign ng positive 1, kaya negative 1. Yung negative 5 naman, x minus 5, negative 5, magiging positive 5. And then, x minus 4, or x minus negative 4 will become x plus 4 equals 0. Ibig sabihin, yung ating equation na x cubed minus 21x minus 20 is equal to 0, equal lang po siya dito. So, the quantity of x plus 1 times x minus 5 times x plus 4 is equal to 0. So, again, yung ating given equation, yung roots niya are negative 1, 5, and negative 4. So, let's have number 2. X cubed minus 5x squared plus 2x plus 8 is equal to 0. So, our constant term is 8. And then, the leading coefficient is 1. Okay? So, what are the possible factors of the constant term 8? So, positive, negative 1, positive, negative 2, positive, negative 4, and then positive, negative 8. So, kapag factors po ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, make sure kapag dinivide natin yung number dun sa mga factors na, possible factors, kailangan ng remainder ay 0. Like for example, kapag sinabi natin na yung 3 factors siya ng 8, hindi po pwede yun. It's because kapag dinivide natin yung 8 sa 3, meron pong remainder. Okay? So, what about the leading coefficient? Again, the leading coefficient is 1. So, therefore, positive, negative 1 lang po. Okay, and then the possible rational roots. So, yung constant term, di-divide natin sa leading coefficient. So, yung mga factors ng constant term and leading coefficient, pag-divide natin sila. So, P over Q. So, since 1 lang yung leading coefficients natin, lahat ng factors ng constant term, possible rational roots. So, ayan. So, x cubed minus 5x squared plus 2x plus 8 is equal to 0. So, yung mga possible rational roots natin kanina, kung matatandaan nyo, is 8. Okay, and then dun sa 8 na yon, ilang roots lang ang pwede natin kunin? 3 lang. Bakit 3? It's because yung highest degree po natin is 3. Okay, so at most 3 roots. So let's have the first root. So pwede natin gamitin yung negative 1. Okay, so let's have negative 1, that is x cubed minus 5x squared plus 2x plus 8 equals 0. So, we substitute negative 1. So, negative 5 times negative 1 squared plus 2 times negative 1 plus 8 equals 0. So, negative 1 cubed, that is negative 1, minus 5 times negative 1 squared, that is positive 1, 2 times negative 1, that is negative 2, plus 8 equals 0. And then, negative 1 minus 5 times 1, that is 5, minus 2, plus 8 equals 0. So, we combine negative 1, negative 5, and negative 2. That is negative 8 plus 8 equals 0. So, 0 equals 0. So, nakuha nating sagot, 0 equals 0. So, therefore, negative 1 is a root. What else? Aside from negative 1, we can also use 2. So, magiging 2 cubed minus 5 times the quantity 2 squared plus 2 times 2 plus 8 equals 0. So 2 cubed, that is 8, minus 5 times 2 squared, that is 4. 2 times 2, that is 4, plus 8 equals 0. So 8 minus 5 times 4, that is 20, plus 4 plus 8, that is 12, equals 0. So 8 minus 20, that is negative 12, plus 12 equals 0. So negative 12 plus 12, that is 0, equals 0. Therefore, 2 is a rational root. Okay? So, by the way, kapag rational roots po kasi, we can express them in the form of a over b, na parang fractions. So, yung negative 1, pwede siyang gawin as negative 1 over 1. Yung 2, 2 over 1. So, yung last na root ng given equation natin is 4. So, 4 cubed minus 5 times 4 squared plus 2 times 4 plus 8 equals 0. So 4 cubed, that is 64, minus 5 times 16 plus 2 times 4, that is 8, plus 8 equals 0. So 64 minus 5 times 16, that is 80, plus 8 plus 8, that is 16, equals 0. So 64 minus 80, that is negative 16, plus 16 equals 0. So negative 16 plus 16, that is 0, equals 0. So therefore, 4 is a root. So ayan po yung mga possible, yun yung mga actual roots ng given equation natin. Negative 1, 2, and 4. So paano natin i-transform yung equation natin into factored form? So negative 1 magiging x plus 1. And then 2 magiging x minus 2. And then yung 4 magiging x minus 4 equals 0. So kapag minultiply natin yung mga terms na yan, x plus 1, x minus 2, and x minus 4, ang lilitaw po na sagot is yung ating given equation, which is x cubed minus 5x squared plus 2x plus 8 equals 0. So I hope naging clear yung discussion natin dito sa given equation na ito. So again, yung mga actual roots, negative 1, 2, and 4. So let's have the third example. X cubed plus 7x squared plus 7x minus 15 equals 0. So yung constant term natin dito is negative 15. And then yung leading coefficient natin dito is 1. Okay, so yung mga possible factors ng negative 15 are positive negative 1, positive negative 3, positive negative 5, and positive negative 15. For the leading coefficient, positive negative 1. And then for the possible rational roots, kagaya lang ng mga example natin kanina, since yung leading coefficient is only 1, equal to 1, so lahat ng factors ng constant term natin are possible rational roots. Okay? So next. So mapapansin nyo, familiar sa inyo yung may box na yan. Okay? So, makikita yung box na yan kapag ang method natin is synthetic division. So, pwede rin natin gamitin kasi yung synthetic division sa pagkuha o pag-verify ng mga roots ng given equation. Okay. So, since yung ating given equation, yung constant term is negative 15, automatically, yung isa sa mga roots niya is 5. So, it's either positive 5 or negative 5. So, pwede natin gamitin dyan is yung negative 5. Okay? So, let's start with negative 5. Ayan. So, and then sulat natin yung mga coefficients ng given equation. So, x cubed 1, 7x squared, that is 7, and then 7x, 7, and then the constant term, negative 15. Then, sulat natin yung negative 5. Okay? So, let's have the next step. We bring down 1. Then 1 times negative 5, that is negative 5. And then we add 7 and negative 5, that is 2. 2 times negative 5, that is negative 10. 7 plus negative 10, that is negative 3. And then negative 3 times negative 5, that is positive 15. Lastly, negative 15 plus 15, that is 0. So you can see, napatunayan natin na kapag yung mga constant terms nag-end sa 5 or 0, one of its root, it's either positive or negative 5. So in this case, negative 5, remainder natin is 0. So negative 5 is a root. So negative 5 is a rational root. Next, sa next column natin, yung pwede natin i-apply dito is factoring. Okay, so paano natin gagawin yon? So, yung mga natira na, yung sagot natin na, ayan, yung 1, 2, and negative 3, ito-transform natin yan into equation. So, magiging quadratic equations. So, by factoring nun, makukuha natin yung other roots. So, pag tinransform natin yan, yung 1 magiging x squared. Okay, so pag gumagamit tayo ng synthetic division, kapag ito-transform na natin yung mga sagot natin, yung quotient, q of x. So, 1 less than the degree of the given polynomial. So, x cubed kasi yung ating highest degree dito. So, babawasan lang natin ng isa ang exponent ng ating sagot. So, x squared. And then, yung 2, magiging 2x. And then, minus 3 equals 0. Ayan. So, magiging x squared plus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0 na pwede natin siyang i-factor. Okay. So, paano ba yung factoring method? So, yung constant term natin na negative 3, mag-iisip tayo ng factors na kapag pinag-add natin, lilitaw yung gitna, yung coefficient ng x, which is 2. So, the factors of negative 3 are 3 and negative 1. Okay. Sulat natin as x plus 3 times x minus 1 equals 0. So, check lang muna natin. So, 3 times negative 1, that is negative 3. So, nakuha natin yung constant term. 3 plus negative 1, that is positive 2. Nakuha din natin yung middle term. So, kapag nakuha natin yung sagot sa middle term saka constant term, ibig sabihin tama yung ating mga factors. Okay, and then, equate lang natin yung mga terms na yan to 0. So, x plus 3 equals 0. Yung isa naman, x minus 1 is equal to 0. So, x plus 3 is equal to 0. We subtract 3 from both sides. So, magiging x equals negative 3. And then, x minus 1 is equal to 0. We will add 1 to both sides. So, magiging x equals 1. Okay. So, you can see mga nakuha nating sagot, x equals negative 3 and x equals 1. Ibig sabihin, yung mga roots ng given equation natin are negative 5, negative 3, and 1. Okay, so paano natin isusulat yung mga yung equation natin in factored form? So magiging x plus 5. So kasi negative 5, so magiging plus, positive. And then negative 3 magiging x plus 3. And then yung 1 magiging x minus 1 equals 0. So again, yung mga sagot natin, negative 5, negative 3, and 1. Ayan. So for our last example, we have 2x cubed minus 13x squared plus 23x minus 12 is equal to 0. So let's identify the constant term. So the constant term is negative 12. The leading coefficient here is 2. So, yung mga leading coefficients ng mga naunang example natin kanina is equal to 1. But for this example, hindi na siya equal to 1, which is 2. Okay? So kapag ang leading coefficient natin is not equal to 2, expect nyo na meron tayong roots na fraction. So kung ilan, depende sa kalalabasan ng ating solution. So yung factors ng negative 12, positive negative 1, positive negative 2, positive negative 3, positive negative 6, negative 4, positive negative 6, and positive negative 12. Now, since yung leading coefficient natin is not equal to 2, so hindi lang po positive and negative 1 ang kanyang factors, but positive 1 and positive negative 1 and positive negative 2. Now, what are the possible rational roots? Okay. P over Q. So, ito po yung magiging possible rational roots po. So, lahat ng factors ng constant term natin na 12, i-divide natin sa positive negative 1 tsaka positive negative 2. Okay. So, pwede nyo umpisan sa 1 muna and then 2. So, kapag dinivide po natin yung constant term, yung mga factors ng constant term sa factors ng leading coefficient, ito po ang lilitaw na sagot. Positive negative 1, positive negative 2, positive negative 3, positive negative 4, positive negative 6, positive negative 12. So, yan po yung mga nakuhang factors kapag i-divide sa positive negative 1. Pero kapag dinivide po yung mga factors ng constant terms sa positive negative 2, ito naman po ang lilitaw. Positive negative 1 half, tsaka positive negative 3 over 2. So, bakit dalawa lang yung nakuhang factors natin nung dinivide natin yung mga factors ng constant terms sa positive negative 2? It's because umulit na lang po kasi yung sagot. Like for example, ito. Positive negative 2. I-divide mo sa positive negative 2. So, ang mga lilitaw na sagot, positive negative 1 na nailista na natin kanina. Okay, kasi yung P over Q kailangan naka-lowest term. So, yan lang po yung mga possible rational roots. So, ilang pares? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, there are 16 possible rational roots. So, sa 16 na yan, at most 3 lang naman or 3 lang ang pwede nating sabihin na actual roots sila ng equation. Okay, so unahin natin is yung positive 1. Okay? So, positive 1. So, sulat lang natin yung mga coefficients ng given equation natin. 2x cubed, that is 2. Negative 13x squared, negative 13. 23x, that is 23. Negative 12, constant term. And then, sulat natin yung 1. Bring down 2. So, 2 times 1, that is 2. And then, negative 13 plus 2, that is negative 11. So, negative 11 times 1, that is negative 11. 23 plus negative 11, that is positive 12. 12 times 1, that is 12. Finally, negative 12 plus 12, that is 0. So, 1 is a root. Ayan. And then, gagawin natin yung process na ginawa natin kanina. Yung transform natin into quadratic equation and then ipa-factor natin. Okay. So, ayan. Nakuha nating sagot, 2, negative 11, 12. Okay, and then yung remainder nga is 0. So, magiging 2x squared minus 11x plus 12 equals 0. Okay. So, yung ating numerical coefficient for x squared is not equal to 1. So, kapag ganito po, kailangan po natin gumamit ng tinatawag na AC method. So, sir, what is AC method? We will multiply the numerical coefficient of ax squared and then the constant term. So, based from this given equation, so a is 2 and then 12 is c. Okay, so i-multiply natin yon. Yung makukuha nating product is 24. So 2 times 12, that is 24. Now, iisip tayo ng factors ng 24 ngayon na kapag pinag-add natin, lilitaw yung negative 11 na coefficient ng middle term. Okay, so yung factors ng 24 na kapag pinag-add, lilitaw yung negative 11 are negative 3 and negative 8. Okay, so negative 3 plus negative 8, that is negative 11. So, tama. Next, negative 3 times negative 8, that is 24. Okay? Positive 24. So, paano natin susulat ang sagot? So, ganito po. X minus 3, X minus 8 equals 0. Kaya lang, since yung numerical coefficient natin is not equal to 1, so we need to divide the constant terms by 2. Okay, so divide natin yung constant terms by 2. And then, magiging x minus 3 over 2. So, we cannot divide 3 by 2 na walang remainder. So, ibig sabihin yung 2, ililipat po natin sa tabi ng x. So, magiging 2x minus 3 times, so, negative 8 divided by 2, that is negative 4. So, pwede natin i-divide ng walang remainder. So, isulat lang natin as x minus 4 equals 0. Next, equate natin yung mga terms to 0. 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. And then, yung isa naman, x minus 4 equals 0. So, itong 2x minus 3 is equal to 0, magiging ganito siya. 2x equals 3. And then, divide the whole equation by 2. So, the value of x is 3 over 2. Ayan. Next, x minus 4 is equal to 0, magiging x equals 4. So, you can see meron tayong nakuhang fractional roots dito kasi nga, yung ating leading coefficient is not equal to 1. So, expect natin na may fractions talaga na roots. So, nakuha natin dito na fraction is fractional roots. Root is 3 over 2. Okay. So, yung mga nakuha nating roots, ayan, 3 over 2, 4, and then yung nakuha nating 1 kanina. So, pwede nating isulat dito. Rational roots are 1, 3 over 2, and 4. Okay? And then, paano natin isusulat yung equation? Pwede natin isulat yung equation as 2x minus 3 times x minus 4 times x minus 1 is equal to 0. Again, kapag minultiply natin yung mga terms na yan, ang lilitaw na sagot yung ating given equation, which is 2x cubed minus 13x squared plus 23x minus 12 is equal to 0. So, yan lang po yung discussion natin regarding rational root theorem. So, after discussing the rational root theorem, our next lesson will be factoring polynomials. Okay, so, familiar sa atin yung factoring polynomials is because natakal na ninyo yan during your grade 8 years. Okay, so kaya lang dito, mas pinahaba yung ating mga polynomials. So, kasi dun sa grade 8 kayo, usually ang mga polynomials na given dun is binomial lang o kaya trinomial. Pero dito, more than 3 terms na siya. Okay. So, pero i-review pa rin natin yung concepts ng factoring using those terms, binomial and trinomials. Kaya lang ang focus natin is polynomials na. Okay. So, yun lang. Maraming salamat.